Today I'm going to give away a free t-shirt, reveal the books I bought this week, and somewhere on this episode is a mystery pop-up segment. Where will it be? It's a mystery. Shh. How y'all doing? I'm Victor, and you are watching a Comic Hero Show. Now kick that intro! Welcome to this week's edition of the Comic Hero Show. I'm your host, Victor Nunley, and I am the Comic Hero. It's back, folks, the Summer of Superheroes. This has been a summer staple on the show since 2019, and all month long, I'm going to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the Return of the X-Men. Now, I'm kicking things off with one of the most popular characters of the X-Men, who also made her first appearance in John Size X-Men #1, might I add, Storm. Now, I'm going to touch base more on the character later on, but for right now, it's time to give away a free t-shirt. Hey everyone, now this month is also Tourette Syndrome Awareness Month. Now Tourette Syndrome is a disorder that involves repetitive movements or unwanted sounds or tics that can't be easily controlled. For instance, a person with Tourette Syndrome might repeatedly blink their eyes, shrug their shoulders, or blurt out unusual sounds or offensive words. Tics usually show up between the ages of 2 and 15, with the average being around 6 years of age. Males are 3 to 4 times more likely than females to develop Tourette Syndrome. Although there is no cure for it, treatments are available. Many people with Tourette syndrome don't need treatment when symptoms aren't troublesome. Tics often lessen or become controlled after the teen years. Now tics, which are sudden, brief, intermittent movements or sounds, are the hallmark sign of Tourette syndrome. They can range from mild to severe. Severe symptoms might significantly interfere with communication, daily functioning, and quality of life. Now, tics are classified into 2 types. The first is simple tics. Now, simple tics are sudden, brief, and repetitive and involve a limited number of muscle groups. And the other is complex. Complex tics are distinctive coordinated patterns or movements and involve several muscle groups. Tics can also involve movement or motor tics or sounds, which is also known as vocal tics. Motor tics usually begin before vocal tics do, but the spectrum of tics that people experience is diverse. Now, there are common motor tics and there are common vocal tics that are seen in Tourette syndrome. Now, the simple common motor tics that are seen in Tourette syndrome are eye blinking, head jerking, shoulder shrugging, eye darting, nose twitching, and mouth movements. And then the complex common motor tics are touching or smelling objects, repeating observed movements, stepping in a certain pattern, obscene gesturing, bending or twisting, and hopping. Now there are common vocal tics. Now the simple common vocal tics are grunting phrases, coughing, throat clearing words, and barking. And then the complex common vocal tics are repeating one's words or phrases, repeating other words or phrases, and using vulgar, obscene, or curse words. In addition, tics can vary in type, frequency, and severity. And they also worsen if a person is ill, stressed, anxious, tired, or excited. And they occur during sleep. They change over time, and they worsen in the early teenage years and improve during the transition into adulthood. Before the onset of motor or vocal tics, a person with Tourette syndrome will likely experience an uncomfortable bodily sensation, which is known as a premonitory urge, such as an itch, a tingle, or tension. Expression of the tic brings relief. With great effort, some people with Tourette syndrome can temporarily stop or hold back a tic. Now, I personally know someone, an old college friend, who has been living with Tourette syndrome, and I didn't even know it. And I know that they're watching. And if you're watching this and you happen to be living with Tourette syndrome, or you know someone, whether they're a family member or a close friend that's living with Tourette syndrome, I love y'all, and this mystery pop-up segment is for y'all. All right, this is a Tourette Syndrome Awareness Comic Hero tee, and if you would like one, you can find them on imthecomichero.com/shop for $17, and I will donate half of each purchase to the Tourette Association of America. All right, I wasn't able to do an episode of the show last week. I had a lot of stuff going on. I did have time to go to Excalibur Comics while I was dealing with a lot, and on last week's visit, I bought some books. There's quite a few of them. I'm going to go ahead and reveal them now. All right, here we go. First up is Absolute Flash number 3. The Amazing Spider-Man number 4. Batman Superman World's Finest number 39. Catwoman number 76. Detective Comics number 1097. Exceptional X-Men number 9. Fantastic Four number 32. The Incredible Hulk number 25. Oh, check it out. Double cover. Iron Man number 8. The New Gods number 6. Rogue Sun number 27. Really excited about this one. Superman Unlimited number 1. Titans number 23. The Ultimates number 12. Weapon X-Men number 4. And finally, Wonder Woman number 21. That's 18, which brings the total number of comics that I've bought since December of 1997 to 13,718. All right, on last episode, I asked, which U.S. president was the Winter Soldier named after? Well, the correct answer is James Buchanan. And 5 people have answered correctly, and because they've answered correctly, your name's been entered in a drawing for a free tee. And that drawing takes place right now. So the winner of the free tee for this week's episode of the show is Greenlee Hooks from Camden, Arkansas. So congratulations, Greenlee. You win yourself a free Comic Hero tee. All right, here's a question for next week's episode, and this, as all the other questions this month, are going to have something to do with John Size X-Men #1 or one of the characters that appeared in John Size X-Men #1. All right, here's the question. Who is the only original X-Man on the new roster in John Size X-Men #1 in 1975? Was it A, Cyclops, B, Jean Grey, or C, Iceman? All right, here's some hints to help. The first hint is that this character has optic blast manipulation, spatial awareness, and energy resistance as their mutant powers. The second hint, this character's codename is derived from the mythological creatures from ancient Greek stories who had one eye in the middle of their foreheads. The third hint, this character has been played on the big screen by James Marsden and Ty Sheridan. And then the fourth and final hint, this character has been voiced on a small screen by Michael Bell, Nolan North, Ray Chase, and the late, great Norm Spencer. Everyone who answers correctly will be entered in a drawing for a free tee on next week's episode of the show. All right, with that mystery pop-up segment that you just saw not that long ago, I've decided that due to the length of it, I'm not going to feature a Comic Hero Throwdown Showdown segment until next week. I had one lined up, but after the length of the mystery pop-up segment, I decided there's just no way. All right, so with that being said, let's get to the comics I bought this week. Comic books I bought this week. All right, here we go. First up is Absolute Wonder Woman #8. The Avengers #26. Batman #160. The Flash #21. John Size X-Men #1. Oh, by the way, this is not the original copy or a retelling of the original story from 50 years ago. This is something completely different. Green Arrow #24. Green Lantern #24, well, 23 rather, 23. Justice League Unlimited #7. Spider-Boy #19. Superman #25. Ultimate Spider-Man number 17. And finally, The Uncanny X-Men number 15. All right, that's 12, which brings the total number of comics that I bought since December of 1997 to 13,730. All right, well, I hope y'all enjoyed this week's episode. And here's a question again for a free tee for next week's episode of the show. Who was the only original X-Man on the new roster in John Size X-Men number 1 in 1975? Was it A, Cyclops, B, Jean Grey, or C, Iceman? Here's some hints to help. The first hint is that this character has optic blast manipulation, spatial awareness, and energy resistance as their mutant powers. The second hint, this character's code name is derived from the mythological creatures from ancient Greek stories who had one eye in the middle of their foreheads. The third hint, this character has been played on the big screen by James Marsden and Ty Sheridan. And then the fourth and final hint, this character has been voiced on the small screen by Michael Bell, Nolan North, Ray Chase, and the late great Norm Spencer. Everyone who answers correctly will be entered in a drawing for a free tee on next week's episode of the show. And congratulations to Greenlee Hooks from Camden, Arkansas, who won a free tee on this episode. Now, on this episode, in part of my celebration of the 50th anniversary of the return of the X-Men, I'm showing some love to Storm. Now, Storm's real name is Aurora Monroe, and she made her first appearance in John Size X-Men number 1 in 1975. She was created by Lynn Wein and Dave Cockrum, and some of the team affiliations beside the X-Men have been the Avengers, the Fantastic Four, the Sword Bearers of Krakoa, the Great Ring of Arakko, and the Brotherhood of Arakko. Some of her notable aliases, in addition to her code name, are the Weather Witch, the White King, and Wind Rider. And her ability, and also she's also part of the Thor Corps because she also possesses the an Asgardian hammer called Stormbreaker. Just thought I'd throw that in there for free. All right, now some of her mutant powers are atmokinesis, flight, ecological empathy, and temperature and pressure resistance. Now, Storm also made history when she made her first appearance in John Size X-Men number 1 in 1975. She was the first Black member of the X-Men. And in addition to her being in the comics, she also appeared on the small screen. She was played by Halle Berry in a few of the X-Men movies. And then she was also voiced on the X-Men animated series, the one that came out in the 90s, in a revival series, X-Men 97, by Allison Seeley Smith. Now, she is also considered royalty, and that is true. And it comes from her mom. Her mom is actually from Kenya, and she comes from a long line of Kenyan priestesses. And that's also the reason why she has white hair. She was actually born with white hair, unlike in the in X-Men Apocalypse, where she ended up getting white hair as a result of her mutant powers manifesting. No, that is not true. She has always had white hair, and it's been said that if a female Kenyan is born with white hair, that is a sign of royalty within the tribe that she belongs to. So Storm is 100% royalty, and she has been since the day she was born. All right, this is a Storm Comic Hero tee. If you would like one, you can find them on IamTheComicHero.com/shop for $20. All right, here's the road ahead for the show. On next week's episode 526, I'm going to show some love to the best there is at what he does, Wolverine. And on episode 527, I'm going to show some love to one of the 5 original members of the X-Men, Cyclops. Then on episode 528, I'm going to show some love to both Steve Rogers and Sam Wilson, both Captains America in the comics. And then on episode 529, in observance of the forthcoming movie, I'm going to show some love to the Man of Steel, Superman. Oh, and also, meet me at the Shreveport Convention Center in Shreveport, Louisiana on August the 22nd through the 24th. That is the site of the 10th annual GeekCon. It's in Shreveport, Louisiana. I've been a vendor there twice already. It's going to be my third time, and I can't wait. Going to be a lot of great guests. There are going to be cast members from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles series from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie from 1990. And then John Wesley Shipp, who played the Flash on the Flash TV series from 1990, will be there. And he was also on the Flash TV series that premiered on the CW back in 2014. He played Dr. Henry Allen, and he also played the Jay Garrick Flash. And then there are several others. And then if you're a fan of the TV show Charmed, Holly Marie Combs, who played Piper, Rose McGowan, who played Paige, Dorian Gregory, who played Daryl, and Brian Krause, who played Leo, will all be at GeekCon, and then several others. Really looking forward to this. I can't wait to meet some of y'all. So y'all come out and support me, and don't just support me, but also support the con as a whole. All the guests, all the vendors. Gonna have some great vendors. GeekCon usually brings the thunder every year. And then also meet me at the West Monroe Convention Center on November 8th. That's the site of the second annual Louisiana Delta Comic Con. I'm going to be there. My friend John Stout from the Kettlebreyer Workshop be there. And then my friends Jordan and Justice from J&J Cosplays will be there. And then for all you wrestling fans, one of the most outspoken wrestling managers, the Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart, will be there as well. So, as Loretta Lynn used to say, y'all come. All right, if you're watching this for the first time on YouTube, welcome. As soon as you're done, hit subscribe. If you're watching this on the East Texas Comic Con Fans Facebook page, welcome. And as soon as you're done, go on YouTube and hit subscribe. If you're watching this on Louisiana Delta Content Careers Facebook page, welcome. And as soon as you're done, go on YouTube and hit subscribe. And if you're watching this on the Comic Book Lovers Facebook page, welcome. And as soon as you're done, go on YouTube and hit subscribe. All right, I'm Victor Nunley on the Comic Hero. I'll see you next week for episode 526. So until then, be safe, be blessed, be a hero.